going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to Embrace the Journey podcast. I am your host, Alexis Forteza, and welcome to episode number 2, número 2. You know, we out here, we live. We are live. First and foremost, before I dive into the topic at hand, right, I do just want to say and give a sincere thank you to all of those people who have reached out offline, have personally DM'd me, messaged me, left comments, all of those things to encourage and congratulate and to pour into me. I greatly appreciate it. Well, let me tell you, I'm a words of affirmation girly, so you could leave me a sticky note with some kind words and that would make my day. Okay, that's just one of the ways I receive love is through words. But yes, I greatly appreciate it. For anyone who is I would say an encourager, a speaker, someone who's trying to better the world and the environment that they are in, please, if someone does inspire you, please let them know how much they do. A lot of times we do struggle in this realm of wondering, are we being effective? Are we helping people? So your words, your DMs, your messages are greatly appreciated by this girl. Okay, just gonna tell you that right now. So let's just dive right in, right? I want to talk about insecurities. And I know we going there. We're going there quickly and transparently, and we getting vulnerable because everybody has insecurities. We all do. Even those people that you think have it all. The money, the house, the cars, the spouse, the friends, the clothes. Somewhere deep inside their soul, they got something that they are insecure about, fearful about, deal with on a daily basis, and have to manage. We all have them. And I really want to create a space with, hopefully by this episode of mine, to allow people to feel okay, like it's okay to have them. Now, what's not okay is that they dictate your entire life. Okay, we're going to go down that road in this episode, but I just want to create the space to have the conversation, right? Just like I say in every episode, that is the purpose of this podcast. This might not happen every time, but I happen to have scripture that helped me kind of curate the topic at hand. So if you are a Bible reader, then you probably will already know what I'm referencing to, but if you're not, I'll give you a great reference to understand. So in the New Testament, most of the New Testament is written by a man named Apostle Paul. Think of Apostle Paul. And I don't mean this to be funny. This is literally the analogy that came into my head, right? When I thought about this. Apostle Paul would be like the modern day Ted Bundy. Okay? And if you don't know who Ted Bundy is, please Google that man right now. Pause. However you are viewing or listening to me, pause me and Google Ted Bundy and then come back. Because that is Apostle Paul in my head in the Bible time, right? So he was a gangster, period. He was a murderer, actually, to be more accurate. He killed people, okay? If you were a believer in Jesus or you follow Jesus, he was like, okay, bet, cool, boom, you down, okay? I don't think he had a gun in those times. I don't think there were guns, but he probably stabbed you, okay? Ruthless. Then, of course, he had an encounter with God. And then look at him. He literally went to different cities and was like, yo, I'm going to need y'all to believe in this man. So he did a 180. So imagine Ted Bundy on TV today preaching. That's the reference that we're going with, okay? And in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 8 through about 12, around there. Actually 8 through 10, really. Paul talks about these thorns, okay? And that he pleaded with God 3 times to get rid of these thorns. But God responds with, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And when I was first reading this, my first thought was, I wonder what his thorns were. I don't know what they are. I'm not a theologian, so I don't know. Maybe one of his thorns was the fact that he wanted to kill people. I don't know. Your girl don't know. But regardless, what I took from the story was Paul was telling us that the thorns, aka insecurities, God didn't get rid of. He begged and pleaded 3 times. And God was like, nah, my grace is sufficient. So that made me realize that, okay, God might leave some insecurities on us, aka thorns, to remind us that we are always going to need him. That even in our strongest, he is still way stronger than we are. Like, our strongest is not even God's weakest. That's how strong God is, right? So I wanted to talk about my personal insecurities, my personal thorns, and how I've managed them. Now, before my encounter with God, my thorn of low self-confidence, not speaking up, people pleasing, self-doubt, fear, pessimism was at an all-time high. Those thorns dictated my entire life. Okay? Then, of course, I come into a relationship with God. And it seems sudden, but it wasn't at the same time. A lot of my thorns I have been able to, some of them I've completely gotten rid of. Others are still here. Believe it or not. I know. Crazy. Because if you're looking at me, you probably think, oh, she doesn't struggle with confidence. She obviously uses her voice. What do you mean that she had a struggle with speaking? And people pleasing? Nah, she's got a head on her shoulders. She don't need to people please. Let me tell you a little secret. Your girl had to go through some things to silence those thorns, those voices, those urges. One of my things that I realized I didn't realize I had, and we can maybe call this a thorn, an insecurity, a flaw, whatever. We can put them all in the same category. They are things attached to our spirits and our souls that aren't really the best things for us. That's the general idea of an insecurity, right? I didn't realize that I could be really passive aggressive. And God was like, yep, that's a thorn right there. When you feel like you got to defend yourself, instead of you realizing to use your words gently, if you don't have me directing how you use your mouth and your tongue, you're going to be passive aggressive. So even things like that can be thorns. Now, the journey of me getting to the point where I am today, which is where I want to call, I'm the manager of the thorns. I can manage them well. Again, this is a collaborative effort between me, my willingness, my discipline, and God teaching me how to manage them. I don't do nothing by myself. If there's anything I'm on this podcast, you will not hear me go, oh, I did it. It was on me. No, baby. I stay humble because I know I tried things on my own for a long time. For 27 years, I tried to do things my way. And I failed miserably, okay? But we here, so glory to God, right? So it's going to be a process. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but your insecurities are going to take a process of you acknowledging them, pinpointing what they are, and realizing that you cannot handle managing them by yourself. I can tell you this, I don't even know who this is for, but it's going to be for somebody. Your pride will be the very reason why your thorns might actually kill you. And I don't mean that physically, like actually literally, but figuratively speaking, spiritually speaking, emotionally speaking. Because if you are walking around here acting like you ain't got no issues and you can do everything on your own, I can guarantee you those thorns are going to be thorning real soon. And they kind of hurt. I mean, have you ever walked into a thorn bush or something thorny? Like roses are beautiful, but the roses are filled with or surrounded by a bunch of thorns. They hurt. It pricks. You're like, ouch. So just put that in your mind, right? And if you don't have the words or you're not sure what your insecurities are, I do suggest possibly getting therapy, being able to have a circle of friends, family, somebody as well that can help you put words to these things, because it's imperative that you figure out your thorns. Now, the reason that I'm doing this, I'm speaking all these things, I'm putting my whole self out here, is because the thorn of silence, the thorn of not speaking up, and the thorn of low confidence, I have learned to hand over to God. Meaning, my confidence doesn't come from me people pleasing anymore. That was tied to my confidence. I thought that if I people pleased and people liked me, then my confidence would go up. Because that's what I was doing for most of my life. I was like, okay, well, I feel low in confidence. Like I'm feeling a little insecure. So, let me people please. Let me get people to like me. Let me go beyond my boundaries, beyond my capacity. And then maybe they'll like me. Oh, and then I feel better. And then guess what? The minute they disappoint me or the minute they don't value me anymore because I'm not doing whatever it is that they wanted me to do for them, now my confidence goes down. So all of these thorns, as I was sitting down and having conversations with God, I realized all these thorns were external validation rooted. Every single one of them were. None of these thorns, even the ones I have to manage today, all can be affected by external sources. So what I've done is if I ever feel like, oh, my insecurities are coming up, I've learned to go within and I remind myself with the help of God who I am amidst people pleasing, amidst me speaking up or not speaking up or whatever. So whatever I'm dealing with that day, I go inside and I remind myself who I am. And I remind myself that I am enough regardless of what these thorns are trying to inflict on my mind and my spirit. But if you don't get that muscle to do that, you're going to start seeing yourself going outside of yourself to lessen the sting and the little prickliness of those thorns. And guess what? And this is no shade to people, but the world is very fickle. 1 minute, it can boost you up, and the next minute, it will throw you in the trash. And that is why celebrities have it the hardest. I would never. Okay, I was like, listen, Lord, the one thing I'm glad that he did not make me was a celebrity because my skin is not thick enough for that. I'm sorry. But I just want to remind people that it's okay to have them. I'm going to repeat that again. It is okay to have insecurities. You are human. I am human. But please don't allow your insecurities to dictate how you view yourself and to dictate what you're called to do, your capabilities, your talents. Because it's so easy to feel like, yeah, I'm not good enough. Yeah, no one cares. See the thorn? Yeah, I'm feeling that thorn today. I'm feeling like no one likes me. Oh, I'm feeling like I'm not enough. And the powerful thing about our mind is if we feel like we're not enough, we are going to start looking for things to validate that feeling. Which is why I've come to realize why they say so much, especially in the word, it says renew your mind. And, the transformation of who you are starts in your mind. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe that God believes about you? Because if I'm struggling, like if I literally cannot, if I'm going within and I'm struggling to remind myself who I am, I literally am like, all right, God, like what did you say about me? You would never say that I'm a mistake. You would never say that I'm worthless. So I always remind myself, if I'm really low, what does God say? And I have to take that, put it back in my spirit. Like sometimes you gotta really deposit it really, really hard because I'm telling you, and my heart goes out to the teenagers and the young folks, Gen Zers, all those, because you guys are growing up in an era of constant internet, social media bombarding you with what's in, what's not in, what's beautiful, what's not beautiful, what's the definition of a man, what's not the definition of a man. if ever at any point in time in history, it is very important to not go externally to fulfill your confidence and to fulfill your identity. But I know we all do it in some little way. Sometimes it's like, oh, someone liked my post. Okay, I feel better. But then you catch yourself. You're like, wait, that's fickle. So I could say some quick steps to addressing your insecurities is, one, admit that you have them. If you take anything from this episode, it is admit that you have these thorns. Admit it. Just admit it. Admit it to yourself first, okay? Once you admit it to yourself, please admit it to someone else. Please consult either a friend or a therapist. You need to get it out of your system. You need to put words to it. You gotta identify it, okay? Once you've identified your insecurities and where they stem from and the root of them, then you can start figuring out, okay, when I feel like this thorn is stinging, what do I normally do? Okay, I do that. So if I feel it stinging, I'm going to do this instead. Like, you literally have to create new habits now. Like, whether that's how you talk to yourself, whether that's what you limit, what you're viewing, whether that is cutting off people from your life, whatever it is for you. But you gotta start somewhere. Because I would really hate for anyone who is listening to have insecurities rob you of a fulfilling life and rob you of seeing where you really can go in this life. What are you capable of? Right? Because I know, and I catch myself. That's why I limit my screen time now. I'm at the big age where I am well aware when I'm on the phone too much. I am well aware when I feel like, ooh, I'm comparing myself. Let me get off real quick because this ain't happening. Or I'm so well aware that I know I can almost feel myself about to be passive aggressive in an email or in a text message, and I delete it. Like, that's the level I'm on. I'm so aware that it's like nauseating sometimes, but it's also a blessing. So that's why I do what I do, right? But you gotta admit it. And it's okay that you have insecurities, that you have thorns. I like to paint this picture, right? To finish off this particular discussion about insecurities and how I've managed them. And it's a beautiful picture that I can almost guarantee you God gave me. So I picture my soul as a house, right? Little in suburbia, you know what I'm saying? Like a nice little house, cool, where you look at the house from the street and it doesn't look like a wide house, but it's very deep. So there's a lot of depth to the house. But if you're looking at the house straight on, you're like, oh, it looks kind of small. And you see lights on and the curtains are, rolled up to a point where you can't see inside the house, but you definitely can see the lights on, okay? You get up to the door, you walk in, it's extremely homey. Like, this house of mine or my soul, is warm, it's inviting, it's safe. Imagine going to a house and it's got your favorite snacks, your favorite blankie, slippers. I mean, just all the comforts that you love, it is in this house. That's how I view my soul, right? And every room is locked, or not locked, sorry. My house, nothing's locked. You can open every closet. There is nothing I am hiding in this house. But there is this one room where it's not locked, but it's kind of a bare room. It looks like a guest room, but there's just not much in there. It's literally like a desk, a chair, and it's got some closets. And this room represents the room in which I unpacked everything. And the reason it's clean, it's because I've unpacked a lot of the parts of my soul that I needed to do work on, which was a lot of my 2020. Now imagine this same room that's not very furnished. There's a closet. And in that closet, there's about 2 shoeboxes and a small, little radio. The shoeboxes represent those thorns, those things I just can't throw away quite yet. And it's the insecurities that remind me that no matter how clean my room looks, no matter how inviting my soul is, I'm going to need God on those. I'm going to need his help to maintain these 2 boxes because I don't want them overflowing into suitcases and numerous checked bags, if you feel me, okay? Now, the radio that's in the closet as well, really tiny, like imagine like a handheld radio. That radio represents those thoughts that we have. We all have them. Those thoughts that are so loud, but boy, they sound really real. Like, you're not good enough. You really gonna do that? You really believe it? You really believe you're gonna be successful in that? Come on now. You know you're not gonna be a business owner. Come on now. You know you're not gonna break generational curses. Look at you. Look what you came from. That boombox, that speaker, is what that says. And when God told me in this particular analogy or vision, he said, you have the ability to turn down the volume of that speaker. He said, so use that. You can do that. So whenever I hear those voices a little bit too loud, I go, let me go upstairs. Let me go in that closet and turn it down. Because I have the power, and that power is the Holy Spirit. That power is what lives inside of me. It lives inside of you. And you might have a boombox like me. I don't know why I'm calling it a boombox. Maybe it's a speaker. I'm such a 90s girl. I'm a 90s baby, so boomboxes were our thing. But you have the capability of turning down that volume. And sometimes, y'all, I'm going to be real honest with you. Sometimes that volume is real loud. And before I turn it down, I listen to it too long. I'm like, well, maybe it is right. And then it's like I have to shake myself out of it. I go, oh, no, turning you down. No, and I don't care if there are some days I have to like turn down that sucker multiple times. But I'm capable of doing that. So that's my vision. That's the power that I've gained. And I know if I can do it, you can do it. Because I am and was. I got plenty of insecurities, y'all. Plenty. And those are just the internal ones. Like, as a woman, even men, we're human. We have physical insecurities. We have mental, emotional insecurities. We have all kinds, okay? I got plenty. Okay, they in that box, right? But you are capable of them not ruining your life. You are capable of not allowing your insecurities dictate how you live your life. Because remember, like my vision said, or I showed or described, my house is warm. It is inviting. My soul is like, it's healed. But if I allowed those 2 boxes become so overwhelming, my whole house would be a pigsty. It would probably be like the people on that TLC, the hoarders. Some of y'all look like, your souls look like hoarders. The house has got to get cleaned. Because you've allowed your insecurities to overtake your home, aka your soul. It's time to clean it up. It's time to realize that you have the capability to clean up that house. Your soul, your mind, all of it. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And clearly, if you need biblical reference, Apostle Paul, aka the Ted Bundy of the Bible, if he went from murderer to preaching about God and still said, can you get rid of thorns? He said no. What makes this any different? If Paul can do it, why can't you do it? So that's my lecture for the day. My lecture, my teaching, my love. But I really hope that somebody is blessed by this, because you're not weird for having insecurities. It doesn't make you weak. And for my fellas out there, it does not make you weak to have insecurities. It does not make you weak to admit that you're feeling lost and weak and unsure. That does not make you any less of a man. Trust me, most of us women would love to hear you guys admit that you got some feelings, okay? And for us, and for ladies, it doesn't make you too girly or too much or too emotional. You're human. Both men and women, if you are listening, we are all built the same. Especially internally, when it comes to our internal wiring, we're very similar. Let's stop acting like one is different than the other. Physically, yes, we got different things and different parts for different reasons, but deep down, baby, we are the same. So now that is the end of my lecture and my teaching and my preaching. I hope this blesses you. I do. I really do. And we gonna see. We are gonna see what my next topic is. If I might surprise y'all. And drop an episode with a guest interview, a guest topic. We shall see. But again, as always, please, if this episode or any of my episodes help you, if you can just do a girl one thing, like, share, and subscribe. Share with a friend. Share with a coworker. Share with your mama, your auntie, your daddy, your brother, whoever. Maybe your mans and your girls. I don't know. You do what you got to do. But I love y'all. Let's enjoy this journey together because your journey matters. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace.